Most people in my country, they go to the United States for PhDs. That's what I thought I was going to do. But I really feel that destiny was at play. And then I applied to lots of very good universities, but second-tier universities.
Yes.
I think I applied to like for 4 universities. And I got rejected in all of them. And then thought, okay, that's it.
You breezed your way into the most competitive and best civil engineering. Right. And then when you did economics, people have to know there is a point where you decide to go for a PhD in Japan at the other end of the world. How did you think about that decision?
All right.
What did it involve?
I was always frustrated with everything that I learned. I always felt that it wasn't enough. Little by little, I felt that I was coming closer to actionable knowledge, things that I could put into practice and have a real impact in people's lives. But definitely by the time that I finished my university, I still felt that I knew nothing,
That you were not enough.
not enough. So I went,
We'll go back there. We'll go back there when we start our conversation about purpose. Okay, so you thought that this is not enough, and then you wanted to do a PhD.
so I just felt that I didn't have enough knowledge. So I went for a master first. And at that time I was already working. I was working at the Ministry of Finance in Brazil with stuff related to transport already. But still, as the more that I studied and the more that I worked, I realized, oh, there are so many pieces of the puzzle that I'm missing. I need to study more.
Right.
So I went for a PhD. So maybe why in Japan, that was a little bit, I didn't plan for this actually. Most people in my country, and particularly in economics, they go to the United States for PhDs. That's what I thought I was going to do. But I really feel that destiny was at play, right?
Of course.
So I remember I had been thinking about it. Where should I go? What should I study? Which university? And all this. And I was doing a lot of research. And then I just traveled for a conference. And on the way back, I remember I was in the airport. So that's why I say airports are always very important for me. I was in Madrid, airport in Madrid, just reading the news. And I came across this news. And it said that the Embassy of Japan had a scholarship open and that it was free to apply.
Yeah.
And I decided to apply, not because I wanted to go to Japan, but just because it was free.
Right.
Because to apply to the American universities, you always have to pay $300
Yes.
only for the application.
Yes.
And colleagues were mine, they were paying like $2,000 to apply
Yes.
to multiple
Yes.
universities at the same time. And I was like, that's a lot of money. It would be, let me just try a free one. And I went through the process, and it's funny because it was so easy.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this to brag, not at all. Not
We're
like
talking
this.
about University of Tokyo, guys.
Yeah.
You're just humble, but
No, but the thing is that, you know, like sometimes when things, it feels like it was meant to be.
yes, I think so. Maybe
Because
in this sense.
Throughout the whole process,
You're not stressed, right?
I wasn't
You're just
stressed,
going with the
I
flow.
wasn't nervous. So I had to take some interviews. And I went to the interview and I was like, all right, like
Yeah.
whatever happens. So I think it helped make me look very confident.
Yes.
Right? But that's because I really thought I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
I was doing that as a kind of a preparation to
Yeah.
go to the United States, which was the plan. But no, then I got the scholarship. And the funny thing here is that you get the scholarship first, and then you need to find a professor who accepts you into his lab. And I remember there was a document in the application materials that said that the universities of Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka were extremely competitive.
Yes.
And like I said, I didn't feel that I was a good fit for Japan or anything.
So why not go
I
for the
didn't-
most competitive one,
On
right?
the contrary, I said, I'm not even going to try. If these are competitive, I have no chance. And then I applied to lots of very good universities, but second-tier universities
Yes.
in places that I didn't even know about, like Kobe University. I think I applied to like for 4 universities. And I got rejected in all of them. And then thought, okay, that's it. So I'm not supposed to go to Japan. But I had a week left in the deadline to choose the university. And I said, okay, so now I don't have anything to lose.
Right.
Let me try. Tokyo, Kyoto, and I
best
passed
ones.
to Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo, yeah, all
Okay.
3 of them. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of matching. There's universities that I applied to, they didn't have
Right.
that specific research line that I was looking for.
Right.
And then out of these 3, University of Tokyo is the best. And I must say that it's the Department of Civil Engineering that I joined. At that time, it was the 7th best in the world. And then I said, okay, I'm not good.
You
This is a-
breezed your way out into the most competitive and best civil engineering, civil planning.
Civil engineering, yeah.
Okay.
So, and that was also a pivotal moment in my life because I studied economics before. It's not very common for people who
Yes.
study economics to go into engineering. The other way around
Yes.
is much more
Right.
common. But the way I did it is just because I was doing transport planning. And in transport planning, well, it's mostly done in civil engineering
Yes.
universities, but there's a lot of economics in it. There's a
Right.
lot of data analysis, statistics in it.
We get to a very important moment. So you are competitive and ambitious already, and then you get into this top school for free, basically, and you have to move to
Way
the
to go,
end of
right?
the world in a very advanced economy. And we've discussed about this earlier. There was a difference between how you thought about it at the beginning and how the experience overall went when we get there. Walk us through how it was moving to Japan and how your perceptions about how your life would uncover, would happen, changed once you got there.
Look, so first of all, I think I should say that going to that PhD program was the best thing that happened in my life, in my career, in my academic life, and professional life, because it was everything that I was looking for, actually. And before applying to the PhD, actually, I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but please allow me to say
We're
something.
talking fact here, Lucas.
So I was feeling very bored because I think until at that time, of course, I had some challenges in life, but deep inside, I always knew that I was going to overcome them. University, masters, and
Great, because I think this is the part where we start to unpack what happened after you've achieved your PhD, moving to Japan, being successful by all means, by all standards, getting the job, and then finally you have the job, and then you have to put even more efforts into being able to fulfill the job. And at the same time, you're an adult now. So there are personal things and reflections that start to come into play.
so
How do you want
I
to
was
start?
just saying I was very challenged and in a very unfulfilling way. So I think this is very important. We can talk about it because, like, when you find yourself in the wrong place, sometimes the best answer is to change places, right? So you see, a big part of the challenge that I was going through was not about engineering. It was not about development. It was not about doing the things that I wanted to do. It was just to pass the freaking business manner. When I started working, it was like this every single day. So it was understanding the environment, understanding what other people expected of me, and communicating very basic things. So that was very stressful because it felt like it wasn't going anywhere,
Okay.
right? And then there's one thing about working in Japan that is important to say. So it's a very hierarchical society, and so the expectations at work are very related to your age. So if you are young, you were basically expected to do a lot of support work. That was maddening because, well, it was really hurting my pride because I thought, okay, I'm a doctor. I should
Yes.
be doing doctor-like
Yes.
jobs, but I was literally requested to serve tea, and I
Yes.
did that.
Yes.
And I served tea to people, and I took copies for people. I printed stuff. I organized business trips, so
So it was
I
more
made
like a
hotels.
hazing
So it was a lot of
process.
support work, right? So a lot of support work, and then this is very important work. And actually, you can be a doctor, you can be a super smart engineer or a strategy person, but you can suck at this kind of job. So actually,
Yes.
there are lots of very important work skills that come with this kind of work that I learned, and I
Yes.
really appreciate. So actually, it was a very humbling
Yes.
experience,
Yes.
and I really appreciate going through all of that. But it took me a while to realize. I was like, why am I doing all of this? Why am I serving tea? You know,
Yes.
it wasn't easy. Actually, it hurt my pride
Yes.
in the beginning. Uh, so it maybe took me a year to come to terms and to understand that, no, look, actually, I'm learning lots of things here. I'm learning the posture. I'm learning the spirit of service
Right.
that is very strong in Japan, and I don't think in any other country in the world as strong as Japan. I'm learning the work ethic of the Japanese people. I'm working the basic skills of being there in time, of being reliable, of understanding what has to be done and doing it before anybody tells you to do it.
Right.
I was learning all of that, but it took a long time. And then the thing is that with all of this, there was the communication issue,
Right.
which was really killing me. Because at some point, when you can't talk with people, you can't show who you are, you can't show that you're really doing your best. So you fail, you do something wrong, but you don't even know how to apologize and how to ask for instructions.
Right.
At some point, it really crushed my confidence.
Mm.
I was feeling completely out of place, and I couldn't see
How
to
to bridge the
adapt,
two
how to
realities.
bridge the two realities. That's a good way to put it. And I would wake up every day and go to work and come back home feeling that I failed.
Misunderstood?
I didn't understand what people were trying to say. People didn't understand what I was trying to say, what I was trying to do. And it just felt that a big disaster. I felt
Okay.
like I was in a completely wrong place. And I'll tell you something that is very dramatic.
Drama? What drama? In episode 3, the story isn't just about deciphering a complex culture or feeling like giving up. It's suddenly about finding a way forward. In the name of love, Lucas falls in love.